Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. The podcast is back in action. And this week, it is I, Reverend Morbid, and
Mopar Monster.
And we're just going to do a little casual thing this week. The weather's kicking our butts and, heat wave, right?
Oh, man, you're not kidding, man. This end of June weather it's rough in Ohio.
I mean, we're not even in July yet. That's what cracks me up.
We're 2 weeks from July. This is going to air the first week of July. It's hot already. We're going to be in trouble come August.
Yeah, this is we're only second day of summer recording this, and it's we're already
100 degrees. Unbelievable. So, yep.
But yeah, we're just we're gonna go over the current events, past events, and future events going on with us, and just ourselves in general. I wrapped up finally. I was walking Skinwalker Ranch. It took me 2 watches to know what the heck was going on because I wasn't paying attention half the time, and so I had to watch season 5 over again, and I found out that they. Obviously there's a lot of footage that we don't see, and it's upsetting because they show some of the scenes that didn't make the cut for the show, and it's like, that was important. Why didn't you show that?
Time.
Yeah.
It's either time or because it's History Channel, not enough drama.
Right.
That's what they're all about. They're all about the drama. So if it's not dramatic enough, even though it may seem important information to what they're doing, they're not going to air it.
But if History Channel, if you're watching and you want to have, we can be dramatic. We could like stare to the camera.
I mean, if you want us to be dramatic, I can blow things out of proportion like Zach Baggins does.
Oh.
Anytime. Oh, touch me! Look at the hair! It's on my arms!
All right. This place is haunted, huh? Yeah? Isn't it? Isn't it? It's like it's a bathroom. We're standing in the bathroom of a Burger King.
Yeah, bathroom of a closed down Burger King. That's what we got now.
He's just like all of a sudden just feeling rage. I'm overcoming with rage.
Smell that? It smells like burgers cooking.
Psychic walks in there, I'm thinking Whopper or something with a W. I think it's Whopper. You just look at him like, really? And you got my credit card number? I should sue you.
Yeah, right. But so we've had past few events. What did we do? We did the halfway to Halloween thing over in Medina down there.
Yep.
That was fun. Got to see a lot of people that we meet a lot of new people and see a lot of people we've already met.
Yeah. Our friends Gabe and Jeremy from upstate New York. Area. They stopped down.
They stopped down. We got
doggies.
We got to see a couple other YouTubers that we normally I always watch. Oddity Acres. They stopped by.
Yeah.
And there was another guy that stopped by. I forgot his name. He's probably gonna say something.
Tell him to stop and say hi next time.
They did.
On camera.
They did.
Did they?
Yeah, they stopped by. I was there. You were shopping around. I was there.
I saw him walk past.
We made their YouTube. It was just a quick, Cleveland Monster Club. Bleep.
And we're off over here.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot.
Now, we appreciate you, man. We always joke around on this show.
There was a lot
don't
to
take
see.
Offense.
There was a lot to see there.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how big that event has gotten. It just seemed like to me, it didn't seem like it was as busy as it was last year. And I don't know if it's the economy or what.
Probably.
Maybe a little bit of the economy, maybe a little bit of people not having time. It was a nice day, so people may have wanting to do things outside.
Right. Yeah, it's hard. It was hard because you're getting into Memorial Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
People might want to go out of town.
That was it. It was the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. So yeah.
I just like how you see, you see a lot of the same people, which shows how tight knit everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
there's one vendor, I always buy incense from them every year. It's the same person. They're probably thinking, if they're watching, it's like, yeah, well, you're the guy. Yeah, that was me. I buy those vampire incense every year, every time I see them. So.
Yeah, I walked around a little bit before it actually started. It seemed like there was a lot of empty tables where people either didn't show up or they didn't sell the tables. But in the beginning, people were getting there late. Yeah. And that was my time to walk around, was before they opened up the doors, to kind of see what people were placing out and the pricing and everything like that. And then I was going to go back, and there was really nothing that really jumped out and said, buy me. This year. Like last year, I bought those snowman costumes. I bought a lot last year. A lot of stuff.
I think this year, though, I mean, we still have, the Hearst Cruise in. We got, there's other events popping up. Person I'm talking to now, Cherry Blossom Boutique, does a bunch of stuff in the Sheffield Lake area. So we'll have to put them. I'll have to find out the dates of some of their stuff and pop them in here. I know there's one on July 13th coming up. So if this films the first week of July 13th, they have an event, an outdoor event. So go to Cherry Blossom Boutique's Facebook page for more info on that. I apologize I didn't have it for the show, but since we're talking about all these events, there's a lot of them popping up now.
We'll put the tag at the end with all the rest of them, like the Halloween Haunted Garage Sale that they're going to be doing in Avon at Crusher Stadium. That one's coming up in August.
Yeah.
And then we have one coming up at the end of July over at Riverside Cemetery over on Pearl Road in Cleveland. It's right down the street from my house. So I'll be there. Mike's going to be there with all the coffin lid stuff. I'm going to be there with all the hearses. And we'll be selling merch for Cleveland Monster Club, and I got some really cool koozies for Grave Expectations for the hearse rides. Got the phone number on there and everything. Got some stickers and things like that. Mike's gonna have his shirts and probably some other stuff he's gonna be selling there.
I'm trying because it's hard. You gotta. They ship fast, but it's like I'm having a hard time finding. Good wholesale pricing, it's hard.
I've noticed that too, and I've tried to keep my stuff as local as possible. But when I actually saw this company on Facebook, they advertised, I think it was Custom Lanyards. They advertised, hey, we've got koozies for this price, as low as this price, as long as you buy a certain amount, and if you buy 100 of them. You can get them for a decent price, and then they throw in another 25 for free or something like that. And it's like, well, okay, now we're talking, because an extra 25 for free, that helps.
Yeah.
And then I still go to makestickers.com because they seem to be the cheapest.
Oh, yeah.
And they're good quality stickers.
Exactly. They're very glossy, very thick.
They're glossy, they're thick, they're weather resistant. You can put them on your car. They're UV resistant. You don't worry about them fading or anything like that, and they stay stuck.
And they're very affordable.
They are.
Like, I don't, I know there's people out there, and kudos to you because, you run your business the way you want to run them. But I just make my money back, or if I make part of my money back, because I know I'm going to make more money on shirts. I'm not too concerned about the stickers.
Well, that's like the Monster Club shirts I bought. I got them from a local vendor. She's out of Green, which is down by Akron, and she does a great job with them. I mean, glow-in-the-dark ink, and it's not ink. It's a vinyl that she uses. It's like an iron-on vinyl that she uses, but she does a great job with the shirts. And the only downside is I can't really profit off of them because if I'm only buying like 25 or 35 at a time, I can't really get the good discount. I'd have to buy 100 to get a good, and I just can't afford to do it right like that. So the shirts, when we're selling the Cleveland Monster Club shirts and the bandanas and the hats, that's basically what we paid for them. We're not making nothing on those things. We're getting that stuff out to you guys so that you can wear the brand, and it's cool because it glows in the dark. You know,
it is cool because
it is.
and it does.
It
I've
goes
had
all night long.
I had it sitting in the room like laying on something. What the hell is that? Oh, it's a shirt.
Yeah. Well, that's why I used to keep one on the dog at night because the dog's black and you can't see him. You'll trip over him. It's like hitting a piece of furniture. And he's got
You
this.
see his Monster Club logo
Yeah.
going around the house.
That's exactly it. And you wake up in the morning and the thing's still glowing at 5 o'clock in the morning when it's dark outside. It's like, dang, that thing's still glowing. But yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're cool people. You gotta grab a Cleveland Monster Club shirt, and you're helping the team out. You're helping us out, just spreading the word.
Spreading the word so we
And
can...
really everybody that's in Monster Club on the page is part of Monster Club.
Right.
Because that's what it's all about.
Right.
It's a social group.
Everybody's social. We like talking about all the haunted stuff and the memes.
Even
some of the memes.
Right. You see them all the time, but
yeah, the problem with the memes is they go across all the other pages that you see. If you're following 16 other horror Halloween type groups, it's the same meme. They just share it to our thing, which
I'm going to see. Yeah, we're going to see them all starting in August.
I'm waiting to see a Michael Myers Hawk-Tua girl. That's the new thing going around on TikTok.
Yeah. Good Lord.
But
it's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm excited because I got a tent and I got to get the sand. I got the weights, but I don't have the sand.
Just use cooler.
So
Cooler and straps. So if you're gonna bring a cooler with some beverages in it, that's what I do. I use a coffin and a cooler.
And just
strap it, and that way the wind don't blow it away. Wind ain't gonna move a 100-pound coffin, and it ain't gonna move a cooler full of ice and beverages.
That's true.
That's what I do. And I don't use the sandbags. Those things, they're a pain in the butt to carry around. You're already carrying stuff. Heck, you could strap it. You could even strap it to a box of shirts. Those box of shirts get pretty heavy.
That's true.
It's enough to weigh it down. That's all you need.
So I'm hoping it's not too hot.
The nice thing about Riverside, there's a lot of trees.
Oh, well, I'm talking about the Hearst Cruise.
The Hearst Cruise In, that one out in Avon.
That's more end of August, which that's going to be not too bad.
End of August, it's going to be hit or miss. End of August is going to be hit or miss. It's going to be out on the baseball field for Crusher Stadium.
Yeah.
Last year it rained a lot, but it didn't slow any of us down. We all still came out there. Heck, we even had a couple of hearses get stuck in the mud.
Yeah, I remember that.
I still had a tent set up. I still had shirts in a coffin. We still showed up. And there was actually a lot of people that didn't show that they sold spots to because of the rain. But it is what it is. You have to be prepared for that kind of thing when it's an outdoor event.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time. I'll probably have a pop-up over by the hearses when I have the hearses set up, because we'll set them up like a V, and I'll put the canopy in the center of the V of the hearse, because I'll have the hearses parked like that, back to back, and hopefully they'll let me do it. But yeah, usually I get away with a lot with Jeff. Jeff, you're listening.
Jeff's like, nah, we don't need donuts on the damn field and shit.
No, we're gonna be parked on all the hearses are gonna be parked on the entryway. There's actually an asphalt path going back to the parking lot. We're gonna be all along that asphalt path. So as you park your car in the parking lot and you walk down the asphalt path, you can walk past all the hearses first and on your way out.
Nice.
So yeah, the hearses aren't gonna be on the field. You're gonna be on the field though, because you got your own setup.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, Riverside, that's a whole nother story, because we're going to be on that main drag right in front of the chapel, and there's a lot of trees. I'll probably still bring a pop-up just in case, because I don't know what the weather's going to be like at the end of July either. It's going to be the last Sunday in July, I think July 27th or 28th or something like that.
For what?
The one at Riverside.
Yeah. It's the last Saturday.
Last Sunday.
Sunday.
No, because they do funerals on Saturdays.
Right.
So they don't do them on Sundays because church.
I was wondering why they didn't.
Right. So if you think about it, most funerals are done either during the week or on a Saturday. And that's because on Sundays, church have regular mass. They can't have a funeral and regular mass. It's just too much action for the church to handle.
And a festival.
So most funerals are held either during the week, Monday through Saturday. That's when most funerals are held. They never do a funeral on a Sunday. Never.
I don't wonder if there's any metal bands playing, because I'm sure a lot of metal bands want to play in a cemetery.
She's got 3 bands lined up. Remember, this whole event's only, I think it's only 3 or 4 hours long. So I think it starts at 1 o'clock and it's over by 4.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, it's only 3 hours long.
Can't have.
So yeah, they're each going to probably have an hour set, maybe 40 minutes set, and then a little bit of break in between so they can switch out the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only 3 bands. She had to turn down a lot of bands, she said.
Oh, I'm sure she
And
did.
it sucked. Well, we were talking about it in the podcast with them when we had Jamie and Maria from Riverside on our podcast. And it did suck. She had to turn down a lot of people, even vendors.
I may even send some bands her way. I know a lot of musicians, if you can't tell.
Yeah. If somebody doesn't show, the Rev's going to be there.
I'll be there with the acoustic. I'm an official performer.
Yeah, he'll do an intimate acoustic afternoon with Reverend Morvid.
Here's an intimate version of "Shut Up and Drink"
at Riverside Cemetery.
That might not be a bad idea. Hawking shirts, playing songs. Like, what is going on here?
So usually on most of these podcasts, actually all of them that we've done, we've had special guests. We always ask our special guests towards the end of the podcast if they've had any paranormal experiences. And we ourselves haven't actually shared any of ours.
Yeah.
We've just listened.
We made a touch base on some of it. Yeah.
We touched base, but we never really talked about a physical story that we've encountered. Did you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go ahead.
I'll go first. I've got a lot. Most of my paranormal experiences it started at a young age for me. When we lived in Cleveland, I was like 7 years old. We lived in Cleveland on Silsby off of Lorraine Avenue. It was like the street that kind of doglegs right behind the Cleveland Public Library over there. And we had to move from that house to my grandparents' house. And my grandmother had passed away like a year prior, and she passed away in the house. My grandfather had a small business that he ran out of the basement. He called it RB Signs. And he spelled it just like Arby's, but it was like an acronym for his name because his name was Richard Bindle. So RB, Richard Bindle, Signs. Uh-huh. And he would make all those little tags you see on people's doors or their nameplates on their desk. Even down to the buttons on an elevator, those little square buttons or the call buttons you'd see if you walked into an apartment building. You see all those little triangular or rectangular call buttons you would push to call somebody. That's what he did out of the basement. And so he kept his business down there. We moved in. He moved out. He moved into an apartment building. And after living there for a little while, me and my 2 sisters noticed at night we would start hearing things. Now, my grandparents built that house in the 1960s out in Columbia Station, out here. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother would take lunch down to my grandfather every day because he was working in the basement. So at night we would hear somebody walking up and down. It was like a steady, somebody walking down the steps, somebody walking up the steps. They were old wooden steps. They didn't have any treads or covers on them. They were just wooden steps. And you could always hear somebody walking down the steps, walking up the steps, walking down the steps, walking up the steps. And then one night, my sister had some friends over, my older sister Kim. She had some friends over, a little pajama party, have you. And me and my younger sister Tracy went to bed early. I had my room and the girls had their room. And middle of the night, my older sister Kim comes coming into my room, shaking me. "Wake up! I know you're faking it." "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Where's the flashlight?" "I don't have it. I think it's downstairs in the basement." So we used to have to go down to the basement. We had an oil burner for a furnace. It was a boiler, but it used petroleum. And we had to clean the little window off. There was like a sensor, a photo cell that had to see the fire burning in there so it knew that the boiler was running.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have to open up the little door and clean off the little window from the soot from the oil burning and close it. So the flashlight was downstairs by the furnace. She tried waking, she couldn't even wake Tracy up. Tracy was out to the world. She was out cold. She comes back in, she goes, I know you have another flashlight. I'm like, no, I don't. Where am I going to get another flashlight? I'm 7 years old. You know, am I just going to go down the street to the store and buy one? No. So I come out, I'm like, what's going on? She goes, well, I saw this orb, this orange orb. And I'm like, well, what makes you think it would be a flashlight if it was orange? She goes, I don't know. We all saw it. It went from the kitchen and it came down to the hallway. We thought you were messing with us with a flashlight. I'm like, no, it wasn't me. You just woke me up.
Crazy.
She goes downstairs, she finds a flashlight. She's like, oh my God, he was right. So at that point, there was no going back to bed.
Right.
I'm like, I'm awake. There's something going on. All right. Then after my grandfather passed away, this all happened in the same house. Now, mind you, my grandmother passed away in my mom's room. She passed away in the house. My grandfather passed away a few years later. You know, he had remarried, was living in an apartment with his new wife. He passes away, he's reading the newspaper, and he fell asleep, and he passed away in his sleep. A few weeks after, I had a dream that I was sitting in my sister's room on one of their beds, and my older sister Kim was reading us a story. And it was a spooky story. You know, we always read spooky books. And she's reading us a story, and Grandpa comes into the area where the doorway is in the hallway. And he starts talking to us. And we know at this point Grandpa has passed away. In our dreams, we know he's passed away. But we're not afraid. He came to us and he said, hey, you guys are doing really good. I'm proud of you. And then he left. And I woke up the next morning, and it was like a Saturday, and my sisters are already out in the kitchen eating their cereal, and I pour myself a bowl of cereal, put the milk on it, and I look at my older sister, I said, man, I had the weirdest dream last night. She's like, me too. And I start telling her, and she's like, oh my God, I had the same dream. And my younger sister, she's like halfway to her mouth with a spoonful of cereal, and she's looking at us. She's like, her eyes got really big, and we looked at her and we're like, you had the same dream? She's like, so that was kind of freaky that we all three of us had the same dream about our grandfather.
I saw something about that. I didn't see it. I heard it in a podcast on that, the one with George Norrie. It was a Coast to Coast AM. It was a long time ago. It had been like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was about how dreaming is still part of this world. It's just like another dimension.
Well, it is, and it's also your subconscious.
Right.
But when three people
right
have the same exact dream.
Right. In the same night.
And the same night.
And you didn't talk about it.
We didn't talk about it until the next morning at breakfast.
Right.
That was, I would have to say, that was one of the biggest paranormal experiences I had ever had. You know, you hear the footsteps walking up and down the steps. Okay, sure. You know, seeing orbs. Okay. Shadow things. Seen that too. I mean, I can go on and on. I've got so many stories. But that one, I would have to say, was one of the biggest paranormal experiences. And I'm going to call it paranormal. Because if he was talking to all three of us at the same time while all three of us were sleeping and we were all linked together in one dream, that's definitely paranormal.
Yeah.
In my book.
Yeah. It's like, you know, some of the things like that happened to me, I had dreams that kind of coincided with what was going on, and you know most of the story, but in tying in that the dream part of it, I actually saw it in a dream.
Almost like deja vu.
No, it was. I think it knew. First off, it was a very conscious entity.
Oh, okay. We're talking
yeah.
about an actual.
We're talking about a thing.
Okay.
It's not a ghost. This thing is not a ghost.
Mm.
It's an entity that doesn't exist in this plane, but it can go back and forth. And that's why I'm a firm believer in dreaming. I read it in the Carlos Castaneda books. Dreaming is just part of our world. It's just like breathing and walking and running. Dreaming is part of, and it doesn't matter that we're, it's our subconscious. A lot of it is our brain kind of playing problem solving. It also has a little bit of a different aspect where maybe the subconscious is a different realm we can go to. We can use it to go. It's a tool to get there and back. And what I noticed is when this thing wanted to show itself, it knew that obviously manifesting in the flesh wouldn't be possible because of where it was at. Now I don't know if they could figure that out. Who knows? But it showed itself to me in a dream. But it let me know in the dream that it could hurt me.
Ooh.
And when he shook my hand, because I extended in the dream, I had total control of the dream.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just standing there, or he was kind of pacing back and forth. Because the dream was, I was standing in my driveway of the house, because I was living there. And it has a carport. This old guy that used to live there years ago built a carport. And along the side of the house was it was the next house, and then like a fence line, a short fence line, probably 6 feet, 8 feet, for privacy, And so the dream, I step outside, and this kid, a little child, boy, comes running around that corner, and runs at me, and grabs my leg like this, grabs my leg,
like he's hugging a tree
for dear life. Yeah. And I look down at this kid, and the look of terror on this toddler's face, was just like eyes of shock, fear, and tears all at the same time. And someone said in a dream, I talked to somebody that was pretty big in the magic world. They said, well, maybe that was you in the dream. You were the child.
You didn't recognize the child?
No, but the child, I could tell you it kind of looked like me, but a toddler version of me. And then this muscular guy, it was like a slow motion event, I swear. It was like something out of a movie. This guy just walked out from that fence line, because there was a gate there, a side gate. He walked out and he just looked, and he was pacing back and forth. He wouldn't make eye contact with me. He was just staring at the kid, like he intended on hurting that kid or doing worse. But when I looked at him, he looked like a weightlifter guy. He looked like a big, bald weightlifter. But the weird thing is he had a weird shaped head. Like his head was pointier, if you can say. Like it was pointier. It like a cone almost. Not like the cone heads.
Not like the cone heads.
No, yeah.
I see what
it wasn't Chevy Chase, coming out of the tree line. Or Dan Aykroyd. No, it was it just had a kind of a cone-ish look to it. It's like it didn't look right. And the look of just malintent on his face. Like, this dude can seriously, like, I'm not going to, I'm not going to antagonize this guy in my dream, because whether I have control of the dream or not, I don't know what's going to happen. Plus, it was just such a strange thing to dream about.
Right.
And something inside of me, in the dream, told me, that's it. That's what you're dealing with. And I just, it would pace back and forth, staring at the kid.
It wouldn't come at you.
So I just kind of had the kid over to the side, like you're good. And I said, hey, can I help you, man? And he wouldn't answer. He just kept looking at the kids, pacing back and forth, like, dude, you're in my way of what I'm trying to do. So I said, you're going to leave, right? We have no problems here. And I went like this, and I extended my hand, like, you're going to agree with a handshake to leave. That's when he looked at me in the eyes. And he went. And he grabbed my hands and crushed my hand. When I woke up from that dream, dude, my hand was like this. I couldn't move my hand. It was like I was freaking having a stroke.
He looked you in the eyes. You saw his eyes.
Like
you saw his eyes, though. Did he have regular eyes, or were they just black?
No, it was like, he kind of looked like a human being, but there was something different about him that just didn't make sense in my mind. Like, this is not a human being. This is like a demonic form or some kind of entity that exists somewhere else, but he can influence you in this world.
So the house that this happened at, is this the one?
That's the infamous house, and it all happened there. Another dream I had before that.
Okay, so a lot of you people who are watching this, a lot of you don't know about this house. We call it the demon house, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to bring any attention to it, because I don't know who lives there.
Right, you don't know who lives there now, but. Yeah. He was renting.
It's in Tremont.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
Yeah, you were renting the.
No, I owned it.
You owned it.
I owned it. I sold it.
Okay.
I got rid of it.
But yeah, he called it the demon house because a lot of stuff happened there that was demonic and.
Yeah, and it wasn't anything like I think it was a combination of something following me, or maybe when I lived next door at the time. Did
this happen after you moved away from there? This dream.
No, while I was still there.
You were still there and you had this dream?
Yes.
Okay.
So the dream before that was the exact same scenario. I'm stepping out onto that little stoop. It was a little stoop with 2 steps. And I was standing on the porch for some reason, or the stoop, just like, why am I standing here? And there's a long sidewalk there with a telephone pole. And because it has a sharp turn, the house is right on the corner. And a shadow thing stepped out from behind the pole and looked at me. And in the dream, I'm going, what is that? Like, what the hell? And then it came out and it started running at me. And I freaked out. So I had a knife with me, and I stabbed it in the stomach a couple of times, whatever this dark thing was, and it stopped and it ran.
Did you feel the knife? Were you able to feel the knife actually impact something, or?
Oh, I'm getting to that. So
my curiosity.
I woke up the next day. Instead of going to make coffee and getting ready, I instantly looked around the house. I opened the front door. I looked for blood. I thought maybe I was sleepwalking and I stabbed somebody in my sleep.
Oh.
Like, it was that real. Like,
gosh.
I thought I was sleepwalking, because I did sleepwalk when I was, I sleepwalked for years when I was young. So I was freaked, because I'm like, I stabbed somebody in my sleep, but who am I stabbing? Like, who's coming to my house in the middle of the night, but anyway, thank God it was nothing. And then it was the second dream after that, I dreamt of that thing. But there was a lot of shit going on in that house, because when I first... Now, I didn't really have a reason to go into the basement. Like, I just
First time you told me this story.
Like, I've heard a lot
of stories. You told me a lot of stories about this place. This is
that's what I'm saying. This could be a whole episode. I remember I didn't have much of a reason to go into the basement because I didn't have much stuff at the time. So the basement stayed empty. But one day I said, you know what? I better go down there and, now that I'm living here, and it was one of those fixer-uppers where I wanted to fix part of the house and then just kind of go in sections.
Work your way in sections, yeah.
Right. And I started to, and then, so I said, well, let me go into the basement. I'm having a mouse problem, and I need to know where they're coming in from. So I found that there was a foundation issue in the back that needed to be dealt with right away. And, it was frustrating. But I'm walking around the basement. I'm like, wow, this the basement's pretty cleared out. There's nothing really wrong down here other than that foundation part that in the back, that I had to deal with. Like they were getting through a busted piece of cement or something.
Yeah. Through mortar joint or something.
Yeah, and so there was this tiny room, a teeny tiny room, like I don't know if someone tried to use that, like one of the kids tried to use it as a bedroom or it was a storage room or something. So I walk in there.
Was this in the basement?
Yeah.
It might have been like a kind of like a pantry cellar where they would keep jars of canned food and stuff like that.
It had a little curtain.
Yeah.
From what I recall. So I moved the curtain out of the way. Holy shit. There was a fucking big pentagram etched. There was a big pentagram put on the wall. Jeez. I'm like, are you friggin' kidding me?
And you've owned this house for how long at this point?
I was in there for months and never saw that until I went to the basement.
Didn't even know the room existed.
Didn't know the room existed because I just kind of did it looks good. And I'm not afraid of basements.
It's a basement.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, I didn't have a reason to go down there because, mind you, I think the only time I was down there, and it was only for a short time, was my dad was putting in a furnace.
Mm.
And I went down there to help move the old furnace core out with my friend John. Oh my God! It was like removing an old refrigerator.
Oh, the older stuff is heavy as heck. It's all cast iron. They didn't do things in sheet metal back then. It was all cast.
Well, it didn't last long on the curb because it was garbage day, and two guys in a pickup truck.
Somebody wanted their 9 cents a pound.
Oh yeah. All you see is these guys lift this thing into the back of the truck and boom. The truck bounces. These guys were like, thanks, buddy. That was the only time I really spent a lot of time in the basement was to help with a couple of things. But when I saw that on the wall, I was just like,
what did I get myself into?
Yeah, like, what was this guy? Because the guy that was there before, he's, he was, I don't know. You wouldn't expect him to be into that. Like, he did listen to rock music, one of the only few Puerto Rican dudes like me that just, he listened to rock music and stuff, and he was around my age. Oh, no, he's a little bit younger than me. And, but his cousins then were my age. Like, I knew who his cousins were. And, he never, I never suspected he would be into satanic stuff, And to find that in the basement, it's like, no.
Okay. So
I've read this stuff before, but I wouldn't be doing shit like that.
Not necessarily. A pentagram doesn't necessarily mean satanic. I mean, know that.
I've studied for many years, so
I know, but it could.
I know a satanic pentagram from a regular pentacle.
I know, but that's.
It's just really strange to live next to a guy who you would never suspect. Now, mind you, it could have been his girlfriend.
Yeah.
It could have been his girlfriend because his girlfriend was kind of loopy too.
If they're into summoning demons and stuff, that's what they were doing. At that point,
something came out.
If there's, it's not so much satanic. At that point, you're summoning demons and demons. You're opening that plane.
It has nothing to
existence.
do. Put it this way: what I believe is, looking at the camera. I don't believe in the Christian God or the Christian devil.
Correct.
But
there is an evil.
There's evil things out there,
and there's good
that are I call them interdimensional entities. They're out there, and they've been around. They're so evolved, and they've been around so long. Like we're ants compared to them, intelligence wise, just existence wise. We're low on the evolutionary ladder, and for some reason they want to screw with us, and they know how. But for some reason too, unexplained, they adhere to the laws of magic, adhere to the will, our own willpower. Our willpower keeps them away. It's strange. It's that's all a conversation all on its own later
right.
on.
I mean, it's all in what you believe and
right.
How far you want to go with it.
But I mean, if you can bring them in with your will,
if you will them,
doesn't
in,
matter if you're
come.
using a pentagram or a picture of SpongeBob. It's whatever tools you're using.
God
for
forbid
them to move
SpongeBob
around.
Is the demon.
Right.
Oh my God.
That you don't want. You'll be awakened in the middle of the night.
Next thing you know, he brings Patrick with him or Squidward.
Yeah.
Oh.
Guess who's here? Oh! It's the ghost of Patrick.
Patrick the demon.
But yeah, no, it was so and again we're falling into the rabbit hole here.
Yes.
But in explaining, experiences, I'm not joking, dude. I think I got PTSD from that shit.
I mean, I think I would too. I think I
didn't know what to do. I mean, I tried talking to a therapist, and I quickly had to shut up because I'm like, this guy's gonna think I'm crazy.
I mean, technically, depends on the therapist you're talking to.
Right. He seemed to be understanding though. He thought it was more just I'm
a dream.
I'm projecting things that my brain. It's like I'm dream projecting
right
in live while I'm awake.
Like your subconscious is working overtime.
Right.
Kind of like when you daydream.
And it's a thing. And the funny thing is well, why now? Why in that house did that happen? Where I'm supposedly projecting childhood traumas or whatever. I'm like, I can't even think of a childhood trauma. Nothing happened to me that, would merit that. I didn't have crazy things going on in my life when I was small that, would merit that kind of thing. Because he was kind of insinuating, well, there were things going on.
And here's the thing, when you're young, there may have been things going on that you just didn't, in your young mind, you didn't think it was.
Right. So he was trying to say that it was a combination of that, and who knows, maybe I have an overactive imagination, but so I had stopped talking to him about it, and I had stopped seeing him. Not because of that reason, but because
now let me ask you this. So you had this dream before you saw the pentagram in the basement?
Yes.
That's where I wanted that's where I wanted everybody to know.
Yeah.
He's seeing all this stuff happening in his subconscious before.
Do you want a really crazy story?
Always. Me,
so,
I'm always down for crazy stories.
So I hate to bring family into it, and I won't mention names.
I did.
So my dad, I tell my dad this because I feel like he's the only person that don't understand what's going on. I said, I told him everything was going on. He goes, you know what's crazy? I had a similar dream. I had a dream because the houses, I lived here, like the turn. My uncle's house was here. Now, mind you, at that point, he had already moved to Florida, so he was renting his house out to my brother.
Okay.
And 3 houses down were my parents. So you could just walk to my uncle's house right there.
Right.
And he has this big porch, and this front door to the porch that he doesn't use. He uses a side door all the time. Well, my dad said, I had a dream that I was running from something. Somebody was chasing me. and it was this little guy, probably this tall. He was like 3 feet tall. A 3 foot tall, crazy thing was chasing him. So he ran into my uncle's house, and he slammed the door closed, and it was kicking the door. Like, let me in, I want to get in. And my dad was like, no, you're not. So after a while, it was like really violently trying to get into the house. So my dad in his dream, he said he worked himself up really pissed off, and he pulled the door open and just karate kicked it right in its face. And it fell off the steps, landed on the ground, looked at him really scared, and took off running. I said, well, what did it look like? He goes, it was a little bald man with a pointed head.
Oh.
I went, you've got to be kidding me.
Mm.
So I think my dad saw a shorter version of the same thing that I saw. I saw a bigger version. I think, too, it's like, how are you seeing this thing kind of thing? It's like almost like, not saying a shapeshifter, it's almost like remember, I hate to bring it up. Remember the Harry Potter movie?
I didn't watch it.
All right, there's
I haven't watched any of
the Prisoner of Azkaban. Harry Potter was learning how to deal with his dark past, and he ran into a teacher who unfortunately ended up being a werewolf. He was training him on how to deal with a boggart. A boggart is a spirit, a bad spirit that can manifest itself however way you see it. So whatever your worst fear is, that's what it looks like. I think it's something similar where it kind of looks the same, but it depends on how menacing you see it. My dad saw it as an angry midget. I saw it as a tall, angry weightlifter. But it was the exact same thing.
It was the exact same thing. It was all on what your fear perceived it as.
Right. And for me, it's like, well, maybe, I don't know if my dad has a fear of midgets, but, I think I would freak if some 3 foot tall guy was chasing me.
They go by little people these days.
Right. Yeah. We don't want to start, I'm a
Yeah,
I'm not saying that to offend anybody.
No, we're not, but, we'll correct it.
A small person.
A little person.
A little demon person was chasing my dad. No, it's just just weird to hear that and go, man, what the hell's going on here? Like your dreams with your sisters,
right,
and my dream with my dad. It's like, how are you dreaming? I never told anybody of that thing that I saw, yet you saw a miniature version of it. Like, how is that possible?
Well, what's crazy is when you're talking to somebody about something that you dreamt and they finish what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And that's what we had over that breakfast that morning. And that was spooky as hell.
I bet.
I mean, you gotta think about it. I'm probably 7 or 8 years old. My older sister, she's 4 years older than me. And then my younger sister's almost 2 years younger than me. And we're all sitting there. It's like, wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
We all dreamt the same thing? Exactly the same thing? Exactly. I mean, to the surroundings and the story my older sister was telling us. Because I even asked my younger sister, Tracy, I'm like, what story was Kim telling us? She goes, she was telling us the story about the golden arm. And I'm like, and Kim's like, oh my God.
That's crazy. It's like dreaming is... What Carlos Castaneda's books, dreaming is just part of us. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's problem solving. Yeah, there's the obvious physiological part. But it's also a way to transcend realms.
Yeah. And
if you read those books, he actually shows you how to do it. And I've done some of the exercises in those books. A good one, and I'll tell you guys one, is when you go to bed and you fall asleep, and you're aware of yourself dreaming, try to look at your hands. I know that sounds simple. Try to do it. I guarantee you, if you look at your hands, you'll feel like you're actually there wherever you're at.
You know what's funny?
It happened to me.
There's a mini series right now on I think it's on Netflix, or it's either on Netflix or Paramount. Can't remember. It's called Evil.
Yeah.
They got a new episode every week now, and the one psychiatrist, she puts a friendship bracelet on when she goes to bed, and when she has these dreams, she can look at her wrist and not see that friendship bracelet there. And she realizes that she is dreaming at that point, and then she can take control.
Nice.
And
that is really cool.
I'm
it's
like,
a similar thing right there.
right, and that's why I brought it up. And I'm like, man, a lot of times my dreams aren't that lucid. Like, I don't remember them. I only remember certain dreams. And that's what the weird part about it is like I'm sure I dream every night. And whether or not I wake up and remember it are two different things. And there's a lot of times where subconsciously I can see things happening like a deja vu event, and I'll try to control it, because if something bad happened, I don't want that to happen in real life. And if I'm in a deja vu instance where it's like, oh man, I've seen this before, this doesn't end well, and all of a sudden I remember, and I'll stop it.
Yeah.
I'll
just going to ask you that.
Stop it.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you that. Have you ever changed a deja vu dream?
I have a lot.
Yeah.
And my sisters think I'm nuts. My mom even thought I was nuts. But I've stopped a lot of stuff from going bad because I remember things happening verbatim. I mean, down to the words people were speaking, to the location we were at. And I'll be like, nope, we're not going there. Stop. And everybody's like, what? Just stop. Just stop what we're doing right now.
Right. Yeah.
And that's enough time, 12 seconds.
To just take the whole dream into another route.
We just go a different route.
I remember one time.
And it works.
I remember
if
I had a dream.
if it happens to you, it works.
There was a dream I had, where there's a villain in it. And the villain is the dominant character, and he has control over what's going on. And whatever choices we were making, it was just bad. And years went by, and then this dream popped up again. So in the dream, I took the villain side. I'm like, you know what? Screw this, man. Bad things happen when I'm fighting this dude. I'm just going to take the other side and see what the hell happens. Mind you, I only took the side just out of curiosity, not because I was picking evil. It was, I'm picking not to get my ass kicked, And the dream just kind of went into a strange new direction. And it was just like, I woke up out of the dream like, what did I just do? Like, did I just create an alternate reality with my brain?
That was unexpected.
Yeah.
That escalated quickly.
Thanos, you're right. Just don't kill me. Just don't kill me, and, just don't kill me with a snap. Thanos was like, oh, okay, well, you're on my side. Everybody else, screw you. Just crazy things in dreams, and it's like there was one dream I had involved a friend, and this ties into those. You ever see those ghost shows where there's an episode where people are talking, but they're recording, and they're talking to whatever's out there, but they never get anything. But when they play it back,
yes,
it's some horrible like.
So
you ever hear that, man? That's
Michael Keaton's
demented.
White Noise. If you ever get a chance to watch that movie, Michael Keaton's White Noise.
What is that? A documentary or something?
No, Michael Keaton's an actor.
Well,
it's a movie called White Noise.
It's a movie. Okay.
Yes. So he actually, if anybody's ever seen White Noise, great. For the people that haven't seen White Noise, Michael Keaton plays a widow, and he ends up starting to hear things like over the radio in static.
I am Batman.
No, not that. He starts hearing things from his ex-wife, And next thing you know, he's all into this whole white noise thing. And he goes to a specialist and everything. And they go, actually the specialist came to him and he thought the guy was nuts until it started happening and he started realizing what was happening. But you gotta watch it. Great movie. White Noise.
Check it out. I'm maybe check out
White Noise. It's got Michael Keaton in it. Whole lot.
Well, at least he knows who he's talking to.
Whole lot of paranormal. No.
Okay.
So
all right. Well,
it goes in all different directions.
Okay.
You gotta watch this movie.
Right.
Oh my god, it's so great. If we're gonna start talking about that stuff, White Noise is a great movie to watch. And I believe in a lot of that. In fact, when we do our paranormal explorations and stuff like that, I always listen in the background of the Zoom recorder, everything like that, the most subtle fucking grunts or groans or anything. And then slow it down and, oh my God, you would not believe what you hear in the background once you start amplifying some of the stuff. And it's real, guys. It's real. That's all I gotta say.
We got that EVPs at the Mansfield prison. We got EVPs at the Minis.
Yeah, I'm wearing the shirt. That's my shirt today. Is I survived the night in Mansfield prison. That's right.
I want a shirt that says I walked solitaire by myself in Mansfield prison.
I did that too.
Because that was pretty crazy.
Oh God.
They're like, "Are you nuts?" I'm like, "What?"
Did it.
I mean, it's not like
that was one of the videos that was corrupted on my camera.
It's not like I'm walking into like there's a physical person in there to attack me. Just
yeah.
But still, it's like I can see if she's a shadow person or you there's noises. Okay, but I think you and I have been through enough in life and with paranormal stuff that I don't think I would run or really freak the hell out. Like,
well, the biggest thing is
like how they do on TV. Like they're wanting it to say something, or when there is a noise, these guys cause up a storm and they're flipping out.
Here's the biggest thing about all those shows that you watch with ghost hunters, ghost adventurers, whatever. Most cases, they don't even know what's happening when it happens. They don't hear this stuff until after they're going through all the footage, because that's when I heard it. When we go through all the footage and you listen to it and you watch it and you're like, okay, there's some times where we go out and we have scientific equipment and the scientific equipment works and we have fun with the ghosts. Okay, the cat toys, meters, things like that. Great, it's working. There are other times, like when we went to Mansfield, where I was disappointed at the whole experience until the next day.
Yeah.
When I went through 14 hours of footage because I had 5 cameras, 3 Zoom recorders, and we went through all that footage. It was grueling, but it's like, what was that? I don't remember that happening.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that you catch. So all these ghost adventurers, like Zach Baggins and all them guys, they claim all this stuff's happening, but they got no meters going off or nothing like that. There's nothing happening. They don't see it until they're editing the footage. And then they probably want to go back the next day so they can make it more dramatic. Like something's happening. Oh my God, did you feel that?
Like their demon house show.
Well, he ended up knocking that whole house down.
Yeah. Well, because it was a health hazard.
I think he knocked it down just so nobody else could go in there and see anything saying to debunk it or anything like that.
Well, it was being debunked even during the movie. He just made it more dramatic to sell it.
He really did. Did. Nothing against you, Zach.
Because the inspector.
I know how History Channel works. We've been there.
And we do believe that there were things that probably did happen there, but a lot of the stuff can be, there's things that can be explained away, like there was a gas leak or something which could have caused the kids to hallucinate.
Yep.
Well,
even carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not so much a gas leak. It's
or
you could have a bad appliance,
yeah.
And have a carbon monoxide issue. That's one of the biggest things that would cause hallucinations and making you feel queasy and things like that. And you'd be surprised how much paranormal stuff it's.
Well, they said that they're still. They said in the program too at the end that there's kids that go to the site and still have satanic stuff, ceremonies and stuff on the.
See,
grounds.
that's just stupid. That's stuff you don't want to.
It's like, look, listen to me, all right? Listen to somebody who has studied a lot of things. You know, you don't want to go there.
Don't.
You don't want to take a Ouija board the wrong way. You don't want to take black magic the wrong way. You know, and use it to antagonize.
That's
to
just
goad,
that's one thing you don't want to do.
You know.
In fact, when you are using a Ouija board, you want to be safe. Burn a lot of white candles. Try to bring good stuff to you, because don't ever go to a graveyard and use a Ouija board. Don't go into a haunted house and use a Ouija board. None of that's going to be good.
Yeah.
And
It got me a lot of hits on Instagram.
I won't even use one in my house. I have one from the 1960s.
You got me one and I won't even use it.
I got you one, and
It's still in the basement.
So I actually found a couple Ouija boards a few years back.
I'm going to put it on display when I get this room together.
A few years back, I actually got some of the last Ouija boards that were actually made by Parker Brothers in Salem, Massachusetts. I have the big one. He's got the small one. I almost bought a glow-in-the-dark one, but I ran out of money. But the glow-in-the-dark one I don't think was made in Salem. That was one of the big selling things that it wasn't made in Salem, Massachusetts. I think it was made in Minnesota or something like that. I'm like, I don't want that one. It's cool. It glows in dark, but
we get one from Black Grill.
Yeah,
he's a local guy.
Right.
He custom makes Ouija boards.
But I actually broke that Ouija board out. Me and Eva did. In fact, if you look back through our videos on YouTube here, go back in the channel, we have a random Ouija board session that we did up in Toledo in just a random hotel room that we spent the night in after the Spaghetti Warehouse incident. So yeah, we had a Spaghetti Warehouse incident where we went on a ghost hunt in the Spaghetti Warehouse up in Toledo with the Tri-County Ghost Hunters. And oh my God, great experience. Love those guys. Al Luna, great job. But we spent the night. We didn't get out of the Spaghetti Warehouse until like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, I'm not driving back to Cleveland from Toledo at 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, we're crashing. So I got us a hotel room, some Comfort Inn somewhere. And I'm like, well, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Let's do a Ouija board session. Everybody's asleep. I don't even know what that thing was saying. I don't even remember it. But yeah, you guys got to go on there. You got to look at it. We did do a video with the Ouija board, and but I wouldn't do it in my house.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, I know I've had some stuff happen in my house. That's not one thing I want to bring up.
I did. I used to live in Lakewood. This was before before I married my first wife. We were living together in Lakewood, and we had some friends over. And dude, we did a double Ouija board session.
No, God.
But here's the thing: a lot of people in the room were and are, because they're still veteran pagans.
Okay.
So these are people like if anything happened, you got at least 5 or 6 people in the room.
They're out there with the sage.
Right. So I said, I'll tell you what. You guys do what you need to do. I'm not going to participate. I'm just going to stand in the living room and meditate. And if I feel anything, I'll let you know.
We're shut down. So,
I did one of those what I call a barrier around the house, and I lowered the barrier. Like, I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but I'm going to do it. So, mind you, this was it was a duplex we were renting, so, good luck with them. Whoever's living there.
Whoever's living on the other side of the wall.
Well,
you're on your own.
We closed it out, but we closed it out properly. So
yeah.
But so one part of the dining room, a couple of friends were talking to what they believed was somebody that was familiar to one of the people there that they talked to all the time. The other one, which my girlfriend was a part of, then girlfriend, that group, they didn't know who they were talking to. So I was more focused on them than the other one. So a whole time I'm meditating. I'm not saying I'm like meditating like on the floor, just I can just stand there and zone out and focus on everything without seeing it with my eyes. And you get a better picture. And they were talking, and it seemed to be okay for a while. But then, in a flash, in my mind, because we had, those typical Lakewood houses, they have the steps, the walkway, sidewalk.
Right.
Just leads right up to the house. They all have the older houses. I saw a man standing there looking into the house. Mind you, the barrier's down. There's 2 Ouija boards going. He walked right into the house.
Oh, geez.
So now I knew something bad was going to happen. As soon as that happened, I saw somebody walking around the table looking. That's when the Ouija boards went crazy. And gibberish started coming out.
We had a lot of gibberish on ours, but
But then I had to shut it down.
Well, and here's the
So
thing.
I just went nope, and I threw the barrier up. And
there's 2 ways of looking at
crazy.
a planchette.
Yeah.
You could either look at the center of the planchette, or you could look at the arrow where it comes to a point. And it could be you might be thinking you're getting something gibberish depending on which area of the planchette you're looking at. So, again, I need to go back to the video and look at it. Look at both ways, because I was looking at the arrow. The center of the planchette has a window. If it lands on something in the window.
But I mean, like with this situation though, it was answering questions.
Yeah.
But when that guy entered the room,
like I said,
all it would do was start answering weird things with weird words.
That's what I'm saying.
It was the timing of it too.
That's what I'm saying is the planchettes have two ways of reading the board. So depending if you got one entity that's sending it in one direction and another one that's going off of a different part of the planchette, that's where you got to look at both parts of the planchette, see what's pointing at.
Yeah, but at that point when you could feel something wasn't right, something entered the house that was bad.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, "We're done. Everybody, close out your boards. We're done." And I in my mind, the barrier went back up, but I didn't say I did that. I just threw the barrier back up.
Right.
And my friend went, "What the hell just happened? I can't,
So it stopped.
It said, "We're done."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was it. It was like, it started fun and then it ended badly. It was just like, see, it's not just a Hollywood thing. It's a real life thing.
It is real. It's real. Yeah, it is real. So yeah, I think we had a good conversation today. We'll have to get back in on the Ouija board thing because we've had a lot of Ouija boards.
Oh yeah, I got a couple more, but we won't.
So that's a whole nother episode. We spent most of the day on dreams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Paranormal activity.
Yeah, it was a good little therapy session there.
Therapy.
Everyone's thinking, what the hell's wrong with these guys?
But hey, if you guys want to come out and check us out, end of July, we're going to be at Riverside Cemetery over in Cleveland. I'm going to put the stuff up at the end, so watch the end of the video. I'm going to have the stuff for Riverside Cemetery. I'm going to have the stuff for the Halloween garage sale that's going to happen in August, and the other one that you were talking about.
Yeah, the one in Sheffield Lake. There's a couple of them happening.
The one in Sheffield Lake. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have that at the end of the video. If you guys want to come out and check us out, I'm going to be in the hearse cruising part of the one out in Avon. And I will be also out there with Michael, with both hearses probably at Riverside. Come out and check us out. Maybe buy a t-shirt or a bandana or a hat, whatever he's got going on.
I'd just like to see you out there.
Got the cozies. guys, come out and see us, man. Let us know if you like what you're seeing, or if you want to see something different. Let us know in the comments. We're more than happy to do an episode on it. Let us know. Until then,
stay creepy and keep taking your vitamins. No, I don't know. I don't know what's our catchphrase.
Hey, I'm Mopar Monster.
Reverend Morbid.
Stay creepy, everybody.